of the day here in HGC Europe. Leftovers comes out with the oh boy.
Is Gazlo, by the way, the new Ragnaros?
Braxis Holdout.
Is that the one thing?
No, I despise Gazlo, actually. I just feel like I have to go against you because...
What the hell?
You're so on board with this, like, Gazlo is the worst hero ever. I feel like I have to stand up for the one of the two mains.
No. That's Brightwing.
Brightwing's manageable. I think Lucio, Gazlo are the two that I
can't believe I didn't get flack for actually dropping Brightwing in there. I mean, I know you're not Gilly, but you're always there like, no, Brightwing has a place.
I mean, she's definitely fallen off from where I was a month and a half ago, but she's doable. She still has the global aspect.
Brightwing was so low she couldn't fall anymore. She could only go up.
You gotta talk about my bar, not the rest of the world's bar, my bar.
I actually think, if I could, okay, let's go away from competitive for a second and talk about Hero League for a moment. If you are on that last spot and you have the choice between Brightwing and Gazlo, I would probably enjoy you picking Gazlo more because both of them don't heal, but Gazlo can at least push a lane.
But polymorph.
Yeah, that's what saves it.
Yeah, you have Genji dive in, you polymorph him, and you blow him up. Because coordination is where you find in Hero League.
I'm so happy that Gilly is out of the country right now. If she was in the US at this point, I would be living a very dangerous life right now.
Sometimes you can play the game and have fun. Sometimes.
Braxis Holdout is the map, and the one thing that stays true is that Method just hates Maiev, or let's say respects Leftovers Maiev play. And the same is also true for Medivh. So both of these teams have very... I mean, these guys know each other. We talked about Mopsio against ADRD, and so they just respect the power picks on each side.
I just respect you taking a negative and turning it into a positive. You said they hate Maiev, and they're like, wait a minute. They respect the play out of Leftovers. You turn it into a positive. Look at Kalidor.
Yeah, positive Kalidor 2008.
Continuing to grow. Greymane banned out. We did have Greymane on Braxis Holdout a couple of times the Western Clash, the idea being that you can peel off and grab those Hellbats if you need to. Also brings in some decent wave clearing kill potential.
And you can easily chunk structures as well.
Yeah.
Just for the later stages, maybe not the most important part, but in the early game, it's highly impactful when you make quick rotations in 2-3 setups so that you can take towers down and just eliminate structures early on.
It also feels like more of a tier 2 ban, the idea being, okay, we leave up the Yrel and Abathur. Leftovers have to pick one to ban out, but Yrel on this battleground has an amazing win rate. She is so strong in that top lane. I mean, even if you look towards Hero League or even North America, she's up in the 80-90% in terms of wins.
I love how you said that. Even if you look towards Hero League, oh, and an HGC.
Yeah.
Isn't that my line? Are you taking that away from me now too?
I'm just
really?
Are you look around the world? Well, because North America plays Braxis Holdout, so we can actually say, we don't get it here in Europe. We don't play this battleground. So you have to point to where it's available. And in North America, they play it.
We played it once.
Oh, wow. Amazing sample size.
Massive sample size. Hammer very early on in this one. Hammer and Muradin here taken right away. I mean, this is the map choice of Leftovers, right? So this is where they try and come through with a plan. But I love that Method now addressed this very high priority that Yrel has for the Leftovers by picking her first. I really, really like it, because if you look at the game until here, the one hero that has been picked by by Method over and over again was Deckard Cain. Always on the first rotation. Deckard. And right now they are saying, guys, this Yrel is giving us way too much grief. Let's take Yrel away. Yeah. And they still got Deckard Cain right now.
That they did. They'll have a strong presence in the top lane, and their bottom lane should be fine if they get a little more wave clear. You can get that in the form of a tank if you want to move into a Johanna, which is something that Leftovers may want to consider banning out. Something on the tank line, they're going to go ahead and go with Diablo, but that Johanna is still up and available. I'm more worried about what exactly they're going to put in the top lane. Do you go for a global play and pick up a Dahaga, and that way you can sustain through, or do you actually attempt to go for something that can beat her?
To be quite frank with you, I'm looking at this and I'm a bit on Method's perspective. Normally when you go up against Method and against ADRD, you are afraid that there is a cheeky last pick coming in that is like a bit of an odd pick.
Sure.
Right now, this is flipped for me. I'm looking at that pick on the side of Leftovers. It's their map choice, and they are the ones who have now signaled several times, listen, if you go down a certain path, we have an answer. If you go to an Abathur, we can reply, like we bait out an Abathur, we go into an Asmodan. We see a Sergeant Hammer on your side, and we feel the map is working in our favor as well. We go into an Azebo pick against Hammer and on Tumor Spider Queen. So this is one of those things where I'm just wondering, is that going to happen here?
For me, I'm wondering where Genji is. Genji on this battleground is a strong pickup. Perfect defense at level 7 allows you to deal with the boss, but also to put pressure on that top lane. was wondering if that might be the pickup here for Leftovers, or even if we would have saw it from Method, but he hasn't made it all the way through on the draft.
We still wait for Black Kidney's hero here. That's the one that we're currently still figuring out, and Genji is taken by them. So the one thing that I also still need to emphasize again is that when it comes to the last picks for Method, we are now seeing with the Nubarak Hanzo, or especially with the Nubarak pick, a very Korean influenced draft. Very much what we've seen at the Eastern Clash, where this synergy between Nubarak and Urel was played multiple times to an extent where it had such a great win rate and won in best of 5 series over and over again until teams finally started to address it and say, okay, if you get those two early on, we are in trouble because your engage is just absolutely fantastic against us in the later stages. One of the Nubarak's biggest weaknesses is that once he starts jumping in, he oftentimes is a little bit like a fish out of water. If you go in and you miss your stun or you miss in follow-up, you're in the middle of your opponent's team and you might suffer because of your small hit point pull, because your escape is just simply gone. So you need the rest to move in with you. If Urel jumps in, she can not only heal for you, but at the same time, she's also in that spot where she provides that armor. So you have a very aggressive and very difficult to deal with dive into the backline that opens up the potential for your damage dealers to follow it up.
The situation can be amplified though with Dahaka coming in. He can come in for the rotation afterwards when a Nubarak goes for the burrow. And as long as they clear out the cocoon that comes out, do have options for Leftovers. Let's head straight into Braxis Holdout on game number 4. Will Leftovers be able to close this out and get a 3-1 victory over Method, or will Method bring it back and go to a game number 5?
A fantastic start here today for the Leftovers as we see linked currently on Malfurion. Poti Boss at this point is rocking Dehaka. Mopsio finds himself this time on Muradin. DAB again on Sergeant Hammer. And we are of course seeing Bleak Kidney on Genji.
On the right side, Bad Biddy on a Nubarak, Nick on Phoenix, Kurtzen on Deckard, Athero on Urel, and ADRD to play Hanzo. The hero I'm watching for, though, is going to be Genji on this battleground. His rotations will make or break this game. Leftovers, when it comes to the bottom lane, should be able to set up camp, but Genji will be the one to try and disrupt at the top.
Absolutely enjoyable match that we see today. 3 games already, all 3 of them absolutely spectacular. And again, make sure that you send us your thoughts. You can tweet at us at Trixler and at Calder to let us know what you think about this series and also what you think about the drafting that we had from Leftovers, since I personally feel this has been the major talking point for this match.
This is starting to become a series that I think I'll be looking forward to for the months to come. Already, Mopsio comes in with a Stormbolt, lands it on Urel. Poti Boss still has that drag available. He lands it, boom, and that's going to be a pickup on Urel.
Great pick, great kill. Getting the first blood here against Urel here, fantastic from them. A great rotation while Hammer still holds the bot lane. Needs to be careful against Bad Benny, but already providing some vision with the mines. Really, really nice setup that we see from Leftovers.
They do come down with a bottom rotation as a 4-man. I'm watching Phoenix and Urel. I want to see if they're going to stay in that top lane as a 2-on-1. That would be a way to respond to Sergeant Hammer as he tried to offset the lanes and attempt to shut down the top laner, but Phoenix are just holding it for now.
The play around vision is really important here for Leftovers too, because they're setting a lot up with Muradin, Stormbolts into roots. This is how they initiated the kill against Urel. And as long as they keep themselves out of vision, it's really difficult for Method to realize, okay, what's going on here? Are they trying to make a play for Cam? Are they trying to make another engage? And at this point, they're attempting to force another fight.
It's going to be a 5v4. Sergeant Hammer still pushing in the bottom lane, so Leftovers will have to back up as Method brought all 5 over.
Exactly, and Method bringing all 5 over is what deterred Leftovers then in the end, because I think they just felt, okay, there's going to be 2-3 heroes. If that's the case, we just go for it and we force that fight.
The only way they get the kill there is that they get an immediate Stormbolt into a drag into a Genji kill. They decided not to go for it. Poti Boss finds the drag on the top left, but Kidney comes over and puts some damage on Bad Benny. There's a Stormbolt, and Bad Benny! Second kill of the game. Fantastic
kill, and also really holding the Stormbolt for a long time up to that last moment to make sure that he first of all lands it, and also that he puts him into that spot. DAB now at the bot lane. Needs to be cautious, actually, a little bit too trigger happy, and he falls. That was a bit of a misplay on his part.
Cursing gets pulled in, and Genji is rotating down, but I don't think he'll be here in time. And Method will answer back with their own kills, and now it's about controlling those beacons. As we have Black Kidney grabs the bottom one, and Method already has the top.
Yeah, Hammer going down is not really the most impactful thing since we had someone taking over experience right away. But that was actually DAB maybe fat fingering his keyboard a little bit because he was trying to boost out there just as he got locked down, and that just negated the entire speed boost that he wanted to accomplish to get away from that situation. If he would have held it a little bit longer, there's an actual chance that he might have been able to live.
Or he could just wait till level 4 when he gets that siege tactics now, so being able to get that unstoppable.
Yeah, Hanzo goes in and you're like, wait!
Wait.
Okay, now we're good.
I need 4? Okay, we're good. We're good.
Continue, please.
Heads up play there from Method, able to get a kill on Sergeant Hammer, but we're back to the landing phase. Method actually finds a way to grab both of the beacon phases. They get a good 6% in. This is a change on Braxis Holdout. I know we don't get it much here in Europe, but if you're able to touch the point, you will contest it and stop all the progress from popping up.
This is so weird when I saw it for the first time because it really prolongs the objective so much. It's much harder now to get the objective in the first place because this is exactly what happens. Someone steps up and then immediately takes over the control here. Mopsio, nice dodging on the stun combat Benny. I'm a little bit more scared about the 5 versus 5 setup later on. As long as we have rotations going, the mobility that we see out of the Haka and Genji in particular, but also Muradin, is going to give leftovers an edge in this, I think.
Yeah, but do you really ever get a full 5v5 on Braxis Holdout?
I mean, around the boss, maybe?
Yeah, it's one of those situations where the Haka should be in Candyland, right? Able to grab whatever he wants to, the rotations necessary based on where Sergeant Hammer is at. So we'll keep an eye out for that, but we're moving towards that level 7. Both teams rotating well and not allowing for anyone to really grab too much beacon progress.
Yeah, Muradin is also trying to move in, and it is Candy Muradin, so he is in Candyland more or less. Misses the Stormbolt though. I mean, that one was easier to hit than to miss, I feel. There's like 3 targets right in front of you, and he can't decide to just go straight for the middle.
That was one of the things that was talked about by Lutano, actually, at the Western Clash. That Mopsio is one of those Murdens that plays like he's in Hero League and just lands those Stormbolts. There's one that actually connects as they go straight in for person. But can he try to take him out? He's tanky, though. That old man, he's got that armor.
Yeah, 1 down, 2 down, 3. It's a 2-for-1 trade in favor of leftovers, and they are making it a triple as Hanzo dies. They're trying to go for a Thero, still fighting over that camp, and Urel is gone. 4 heroes down, the camp taken away, leftovers with a massive lead into game number 4.
I mean, DAB didn't have to deal with anything there. He just sat at his monitor and he slammed the right click on every target that he wanted. No pressure on him. The entire focus was on top of grabbing that Merc camp, and leftovers get it.
And also, coming back after that huge win for leftovers to the Stormbolt discussion, you, as Muradin in general, no matter what you do, you don't miss Stormbolts. If you don't connect with the hero, that's what we call a Nomi Stormbolt, and that's when you zone your target.
Oh, I see.
It's all about zoning. It's a zoning Stormbolt.
Gotcha. A Nomi Stormbolt.
Yeah. In the days of old, that's what we call that.
I'll start saying that, because I do a lot of Nomi Stormbolts, that's for sure. They're not my fault, though. Game lags. Every time.
Just to make sure that you don't think that's an actual expression, you know who Nomi is, right?
No, I don't.
All right, we'll talk later.
Tell me who Nomi is.
Ex-German player and now streamer.
Why would I know who a German player is, Caldor? I've never lived in Germany in my life.
He played on several teams in the past. I mean, you've been part of the scene for a little bit. I know back then you were a community manager and maybe didn't pay too much attention to Euro, but still.
Yeah, it's true. It's because I had North American hours. But
ooh,
I'm growing up. Know me. I now know who you are. And today is a learning day.
We had North American hours. Like, I live in a different time zones. Look at me being all fancy.
Just how the world works. As we have another engage here on the top. Bad Benny moves in, and Blakidney wants to punish, going for a kill, but here's a Thero bringing that armor you were talking about.
I have to quickly come back to the time difference. You do realize that actually European time zones and tournament hours are much better for you than that you live in the US, not right? It's not actually a disadvantage. It's an advantage for you.
Well, most European matches that happened actually happened around my lunchtime back when I was a CM. So I'd be walking over, I'd get lunch, usually sushi or something.
You get lunch at 9 o'clock in the morning?
No, it was 11 o'clock for me.
We're going to have an extended talk about time zones later. Now let's focus on the game a little bit as we have another fight exploding as Kirsten is being attacked here. The counter action by Method, though, might actually lead to a kill here for the red team because leftovers are just in full flight mode.
They need to run away. Sergeant Hammer was thinking about rotating in, but it takes her forever to move across the map. So instead, she runs the bottom and sieges up, and that will force Hanzo to come down. But Method are keeping up with the aggression. They want to get a takedown. The Party Boss is making it hard for them by landing these drags.
Method is going more for these team fights, and this comes back to what we talked about earlier. You want to have that Urel and Nubara combo together so that you can jump in deep, and that's exactly the tools that they are currently using to push leftovers to the limit. But the blue team has still that massive advantage to their strong early game, and this is something they're trying to carry over now. Hammer is rotating in there, trying to take the point up at the top, and they definitely need her here because they can't lose this point as well. But DAB is now back in business.
10 connects and all the heroics come online. Mopsio holding that front line. Polyboss is looking for a drag, but Method are going to back up, not having that 10. They were able to have Hanzo grab the south side so they delay long enough.
DAB on Hammer was in that awkward spot that I think everyone that played Hammer with the hovering siege mode was ever in. You siege up, you're in the fight, and all of a sudden that fight just starts to move a little bit away from you, and you're just trying to close the gap, and the entire is like, God damn it, just stay still for a second so I can start shooting. And he didn't get a single shot off in that fight and had to actually leave siege mode to finally catch up with everyone.
Oh no, Sergeant Hammer has a weakness. Unfortunate. Leftovers starts to move up and grabs the bush, controlling space again. And now with Genji to the south, he'll be able to win a one-on-one against Hondo if he needs to with that level 10 being available. And they are looking for 100% on the beacon progress.
Jack is there, and yep, now they're going for it. 80 against 6, the Jack comes through. Genji is actually circling around. He's also hoping for Hanzo to make a rotation so that he can catch him mid-rotation. But that's not really happening, so instead, if Hanzo doesn't come to Genji, Genji is coming to Hanzo. That's what Nikita decided. And they're setting up Murden at the side. But all of a sudden, there's a lot more people trying to join that party.
But this bush being controlled is important. Mopsio is in a spot where he could get picked off, but it gives vision to his teammates, and now he can run to the top side. But he has to chill, man. He can't do anything.
Mopsio's sitting there like, if I don't move, they don't see me.
This is Monka-esque moment. It really is. Do I leave this push? Do I hit B? Ooh, big arrow comes out. But Kidney with the X-Strike is able to escape, and Mopsio runs over and distracts Nick.
Yeah, trying to go in. Here comes also Dehaka. Lornado is through. Mopsio moving in, a Stormbolt, and 80 already goes down. Great kill, but Mopsio might fall as well. Indeed he does, as we see Anubarak with a stun and the salvo follow-up. Even Tranquility is not able to keep the frontliner alive, as we have the 4 versus 4 unfold straight in front of us.
The Bodyboss, he's trying to get his tongue up, can work in a couple wild attacks with that Feeding Frenzy. He wants to grab this point. Sergeant Hammer starts to shell away, and if they buy enough time, Method will have to start back up. And Bad Benny realizes that, okay, a drag could be coming out and he has to escape. Nick will work over, but will it be up in time? Yes, he gets over and stops the channel at 96%.
Very close call, and it opens the bot lane up for pressure, and that's where Fort falls, so leftovers with even more experience right now. Even though they didn't get the objective, they still got value out of that situation.
Fort is down half a health bar there. Should be picked up later and get that experience.
I mean, Hammer is going to move in, or it's going to be Genji. Like, one of the two is definitely going to get that one. It doesn't matter too much yet, but it will so in a few seconds because they want to have level 13. But the Fort alone is not going to get them to that point.
Bad Benny going for an aggressive play here. He has that engage available. Cocoon comes out. Here's a Dragon Arrow straight onto Polyboss, but Polyboss eats it and drops the Essence.
Yeah, and now they're in trouble because that Lornado didn't do anything. Nice unstoppable on the side of DAB, using his level 4 here to dodge out on the Deck Arcane heroic ability. The Fort is down. No retreat point for Method as they are just moving away, blowing a lot of their heroic abilities. 3 in total, and important ones at that. And that allows now the Zerg wave to come through. And that is a massive one for leftovers. Not really too much of a big deal for Method.
They still have to respect the Zerg wave pushing in the bottom lane. That was also buffed as well on Braxis Holdout, so you have to consider clearing that up, and they'll leave the Haka to do that thanks to that global. Sergeant Hammer already rotating over to the top right as they can work towards that 13. Mopsio holding the bush just in case he needs to make sure that Sergeant Hammer can sneak on through. And there we go. Leftovers will begin the push.
Really difficult for Method to deal with this. Level 13 comes in, the push at the same time. This is a situation where Method has to be very, very careful. If they get engaged upon right now, they are going to be in trouble.
Dahaka can burrow behind this. The moment the minion wave gets here, you can have the idea of Dahaka coming in for a rotation and threatening the idea of forcing a fight. Guardians are protected, and they'll start sieging away on the fort while Mopsio buys some time, and Uro rotates over because of that Dahaka possible threat.
That wave did surprisingly little here for Method. Now, I didn't really expect it to snowball towards the keep, but still didn't even get the fort here. 11 minutes in. Nice engage attempt against Link. Bad Benny in trouble. Black Kidney goes deep, and here comes the ult as we have a Nubarak fall. The Beetle has been exterminated, and now the 5-man at the top can finally start to finish off the fort.
You highlighted it in the draft. Nubrak is just one of those heroes that if he goes in for a dive and he isn't able to find those picks, he will get cleaned up. Sure, that's mitigated thanks to Urel's level 4 pickup talent and giving the armor off, but it's still an issue that you have to worry about. Bad Benny was unable to escape even with the shields and armor coming in. Yeah,
and then the immediate punishment against him. And of course, the problem also is that if you make an engage like that, with a talent disadvantage, you need to be 100% certain that that kill actually happens, and that wasn't the case here. So you find yourself not only in an awkward spot, maybe a little bit out of position, you find yourself a talent down in that fight.
Yeah. Been having multiple Dragon Arrows coming out too, but so far the front line for Leftovers has done a great job of making sure those arrows aren't connecting as well as they would like to see. Muradin, both Dahaka as well have been stopping those. A couple have landed on Sergeant Hammer, but that unstoppable has allowed for her to escape. Especially with Link, he is there every time with the Tranquility.
Yeah, he does well. He came in a few times a bit too late to save Muradin, but Mopsio, again, is very aggressive, as we know, and he got punished a couple of times. But oftentimes his plays work out, and now he completes his quest on level 1, which allows him, of course, to be even more aggressive in these team fights.
Set up around the boss. Those Leftovers have the top lane pushing in if anyone were to commit to that top lane.
I really like the attempt at a trap that we saw from Method here too, hiding in the bush and waiting for someone to show up to get that stun chain going.
Yeah, that's one of those common trap areas that you'll see on this battleground, that on the right side and the left side, so always make sure that you check them in your own games. If you have the ability as Genji to drop a Shuriken or even Junkrat, for instance, just poke it.
Method played a Hammer composition earlier, and it didn't really work out for them because of the Nazebo Gul'dan composition against it, but now Leftovers is just showcasing how strong Hammer can be. They did so already on Battlefield of Eternity, and this is, again, the same slow approach to the game.
This is a level 13 and 15 fight, so Method wants to take it while they're on even talent tiers, but they can't find the opening they would like. Buddy Boss does a good job of protecting DAB and doesn't allow Urel to jump in.
And we are in a situation in which Leftovers already have the lead in the series. They're 2-1, they're 1 ahead. If they take it here, it's over. And Leftovers, after the Western Clash, would have beaten Method again.
Bad Benny has the flank. They want to force it now. Method steps up. Here comes a Bro Charge straight on the DAP. He gets stun locked. He gets the armor. He gets the heals. And Dahaka takes Cocoon.
Tranquility is immediately out there trying to go in. Mopsio is going down. Can they get the counter kill though? Does not look likely. Genji moves away, but not fast enough. He dies too.
Dies too, and so Method finds a way into the game. 2 immediate pickups. They can now move over and start to work on the beacon progress. They also have a boss for the taking, and they decide, all right, we have enough time to grab the boss, and they step up.
And that's a really good call here. 2 kills on their side. They found 2 on the Leftover side. So now that's an opportunity to get the boss, to try and go for the objective, and that's exactly what they do. This could very well bring them massively back into this game, especially when they take down those forts. That's a lot of experience in those structures.
But the experience lead is still in the favor of the Leftovers. Ooh, but Bad Benny sniffs out the Hellbat attempt, and he'll steal it away.
It gets worse. Like, Method was so far ahead, but right now they're starting, I don't want to say fall apart here, but they will have a very, very tough time dealing with all of this, since Method has now just gained a lot of momentum.
They have to deal with it in waves. Kill off the boss first, ignore the beacon progress. Ooh, maybe find a pick here as they go straight in for a drag. Bad Benny is the target, and Blakitney comes in. He gets a swipe, gets a takedown, and goes for Nick.
Fantastic spot here, and once again, Mopsio deep into the back line, sets the Stormbolts up. Boss with a lick against Urel. They're trying to get another kill, but the salvo is threatening not only Genji, but also Mopsio.
Mopsio gets a Storm Bolt. Ardent Defender comes out from Urel. Boss finds the drag, pulls him in, but Boss is low in health. He has to start escaping. He pops the Essence to start healing up. But Method, they fight back, they get the beacon progress, and move towards 100.
Tranquility was absolutely worth here for Malfurion, and he kept everyone alive. They have the 16, and they had it in the fight already. The Giant Killer for Sergeant Hammer will be fantastic against the Nuburak.
Boss has to work on this bottom lane. This boss is still healthy, was able to take out a fort, and is now working on a keep wall. Boss will be able to clear that up, while Genji will take some time to deflect and slow down this beacon progress. But with Method having all 5 up and healthy, they should be able to finish it off. And
when all is said and done, we're looking at 2 teams that are on the same talent here, and a massive lead for Method in the beacon progress that is now leading to 100% Zerg wave against 8%. Great setup here for Method. Very well done, and it all came from those 2 kills that they got in the team fight at the bot lane.
My favorite talent comes online for Nubrak at 16, the Epicenter. Being able to have that big hitbox from Nubrak moving in and popping up as many people as possible. Again, the impact area is increased by 60%, and of course the cooldown gets reduced for each hero hit. You'll be looking for a Nubrak to force those fights.
And it makes it way more reliable to follow it up with the Hanzo arrow too.
Yeah.
So a Nuburak Hanzo, that combo that we've seen, is going to be much stronger here. Only if the cooldown is ready. ADRD just firing that out, and that didn't get a lot of value. That was actually a little bit of a weird engage.
EAB was like, okay. Mobsteel goes in. Behind the Zerg wave, BFG comes in afterwards. 2 ADRD is able to sidestep, but Blakidney goes for the chase, and Bad Benny with the punish.
Bad Benny's playing this so well. Now Malfurion falling to, anticipating the X-Strike, looking where Hanzo is endangered. Burrows in, gets the stun, and that's the double kill. And that might just have lost Leftovers the game.
It may have. Method brings all 5 up. Guardians siege down the keep, and that will be done. And now it's time for the core. 20 seconds for Genji back on the field and Malfurion. Leftovers will have to defend with 3.
And this is not impossible. Leftovers are trying to make something happen, but now Mobsteel dies. Method moving in. The Guardians are there. It's a 5-man on the core, and this should be game. We are going to see a 5th map in this series as the Haka falls and Method mercilessly takes down the core on Braxis Holdout.
Leftovers put it all on the line, attempting to take out Hanzo. BFG does not connect, and Bad Benny sniffs out the dive from Genji and gets the kill. Method, with a last-second team fight, are able to tie up the series here as we get ready for that game number 5.
Yeah, Method doing extremely well with the coordination, but I feel Leftovers a bit too trigger-happy, a bit too pressured, especially after ADRD used the arrow already prematurely before there was an Anubarak dive. You could have played this a bit safer.
And they did spot Euro on the bottom lane.
Yeah, they went really deep though, into the wave as well, so losing 2 definitely sealed the deal on game number 4. And it's actually impressive that Method came back.
Big trade-off there happening for the Leftovers. It just did not work out for them. Had they gotten that kill, may have looked a little bit more impressive. They get an easy defense there, can move in for a boss, but definitely tossing the game there.
I mean, it's not only that last engage, right? They were 2 levels ahead, Leftovers that is. So there were so many cool fights that happened at that moment when Leftovers were far ahead, where Method just said, guys, we need to do something. At least we have even talents right now, so let's play around that. They get the first fight at the bot lane and get 2 kills. And even that was close, because Anubarak was very threatened, and Muradin just barely dies before he gets another healing static clap off and before Tranquility comes through. But on the back of those 2 kills, this is where it all started. Boss is taken, you really work on the beacon progress as well. And the fights from there on out, it just felt that Leftovers felt rattled.
Sure.
And Method just really methodically capitalized on the advantages that they had after that point. So that was a great comeback from them.
It displays some of the risks that you have to take in this game. There are moments where you realize, okay, we're an even talent here. They're about to level 16. They're stomping us the entire fight. We got to throw a wrench in the plan, and they were able to pull it off. It was close, but they pulled it off, and it got them a win. We're going to game number 5 after this commercial break, and we'll see who will gain victory here in the entire series.